Oh wow, did you see the Lions' new locker room?
No, I did not.
Holy smokes, it is very nice. Can we have their old stuff? Like by we, I mean Wayne State.
You'll love the Instagram story I just put out.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh God, it's loud. Oh Jesus. There we go. There's a pool table. Amazing.
Incredible. Like right before I looked at that, Wayne State, like its own Instagram put out some video with W. I'm like, wow, that's the first time I've seen W. I sure haven't seen it at like football or basketball games.
Yeah.
Maybe W is going to be the university mascot and we'll get a new, better athletics mascot.
We'll get an actual warrior that can do stuff.
We'll get like an actual Mongolian like horseman to ride around. We'll just get the Who. They can sing us their songs, your traditional Mongolian throat singing songs.
Alrighty. Oh, you're getting some notes. Nice.
It's live. Alrighty, we're posted. We are ready to record.
Cute. Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thanks for joining us on episode 96 of the Warrior House podcast. What's up, Sangster? Talk to us.
It's Championship Monday. I thought
True
that's
that.
all there is. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start out with
Food
that. That was
Monday.
pretty. I was following along with some of the stats on our men's golf team as the weekend went on, and I saw and I texted you immediately as soon as I heard that the Wayne State men's golf team topped Grand Valley, number 9 ranked Grand Valley in the GLIAC Championship match play. But yeah, so let's talk about that really quick. So this last weekend, the team was out in Augusta, Michigan. I guess I should have let you take that one away, but this is you got the notes on this one. I think you read up the article here, which is this is uh, Wayne State's second all-time championship and second under Coach Horn. I'm kind of botching this a little bit because your notes are a little bit different. They got a championship back in 2003. This is the first GLIAC championship for men's golf since then. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's
And
pretty
it's also
impressive.
there. Coach Horn also got both of them. He got his first one for Wayne State back in 2003 as well.
I remember before we hit the record button, I was like, when was the last time they won this one? Because it had felt like it had been a while, but also you wouldn't have surprised me if you said, Ryan, it was 4 years ago. So just kind of the way that life's going right now. Recent runner-ups, though, because the golf team has been very good. 2018, 2023, and 2024, Wayne State finished second in all of those. They finally get the championship win. So how did it happen? So after round one, which is all of the teams playing, Wayne State was in second place just behind Grand Valley, actually, I believe by 1 stroke. And honestly, the first thing I looked at was Josh DiCarlo did not have a fantastic round. He was the lowest, highest scoring. He had the worst score of the Wayne State golf team. And to me, that boded very well. Like if he can get it going in some of these coming up rounds and the team can continue to play reasonably well, which they had been, this is something that they could have won. I thought of it that at that point. So second place after round one, going into round two, they were actually tied for third place. So took a little bit of a step back, not too much, But what ends up happening is after round two, the top four teams get to move on into match play. Round one and round two are stroke play, which again, that's just everybody playing. So the top four move into match play, and Wayne State took on Grand Valley to start, and Wayne State won that one head to head, five golfers head to head by a score of 3-2. Moves them into the championship, which was on Sunday, April 20th, Easter Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And they took on Saginaw Valley, and it was just an absolute shutdown win. Wayne State won that match play by a score of 4-1. So we took down the tough opponent there in the semifinals, Sangster, and then said, you know what, we just got to do it one more time against Saginaw Valley and we get GLIAC champion. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, overall it was an outstanding weekend for Wayne State. Uh, really just kicking it off in that first round. Like you said, Wayne State was tied. Uh, no, they were in second, one stroke behind Grand Valley. You had two players tied for second. Both those were Smith and Warnock, that both tied at 69 top two, and especially in a weekend where Josh DeCarlo really isn't having his best day. Following it up against this medal match play against Grand Valley, it was close. There were actually two ties, uh, but luckily Wayne State was able to get three out of them over the two. So again, Wayne State did an awesome job, I think, and then Saginaw Valley breezed right past them. So what this means now for Wayne State is that we're going to wait until April 25th, where Wayne State's definitely going to get into the NCAA regionals in the Midwest region. The last rankings that we had, Wayne State was third in the Midwest, Grand Valley was first, but also Fair State was sixth, and Saginaw Valley was seventh. Well, you just beat the number one team in the Midwest. You beat the number seven team directly in match play, and you just won the entire conference. I'm going to say that Wayne State's going to get a boost in those rankings.
I would certainly think so. I mean, looking at the fact that, yeah, they just straight up won the whole thing
Yep.
convincingly, especially in the championship, regardless of who they played. Pretty good stuff there. So very excited to see what ends up there. And I started looking a little bit into what the regional standings have to do with national standings, and I stopped myself because I'm like, we're not there yet. We'll get around to that next week. But pretty cool stuff to look forward to. Golf is not ending anytime soon. So if you're a golf fan, which I believe Sangster and I are, we get to continue following along with this. So that's very cool to see. The women's track and field teams, I guess, had a ton of events going on. They had the whole team split up among a bunch of different events. And starting out, the Cal State LA Twilight Open. This is at the Jesse Owens track. I didn't know that, Sangster. You must have gotten the note on that.
Yep, that was just the top note that I saw is where it was. So uh, I believe that the Jesse Owens track is on Cal State LA's campus. So from what I saw, there were a few events that Wayne State competed in. I believe we set some top tens within the school, but nothing really, no podium finishes, no new records set in that one.
Yep. Okay. I do see that as well. Yeah. There was no team scores in this one. It's usually all individual. The
Yep.
Azusa Pacific Brian Clay Invitational. I don't recall that whole name, but that was also going on. The note here is that Kenesha Thomas broke her own school record that she set earlier this season. And that was in, what was the event that she broke that in, St.
400-meter hurdles.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, not that you mentioned that, I do remember. Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I remember talking about that one. So good for her there. Also going on was the Laverne Leopard Invitational, and this one was out in Laverne, California. So if you're keeping track, that's three different events that our team was out in California. And then I didn't see any notes on that one, any significant finishes for that one.
No, not really. It's the same deal with uh the Cal State one, is that yeah, we had some good finishes, but nothing really record breaking or podium in this actual event.
Yep. And then last but not least, the Oakland U Invitational. They were hosting that. This was just up the road at Oakland University. Looks
Not
like
in Oakland,
definitely
California.
not in Oakland, California. Definitely a couple wins here. I see that Olivia Finley got the high jump victory there. Renee Kucha won the triple jump. I just happened to see that Sarah Greb, that's a new name. She got the 3,000 meter steeplechase, third place in that one. And yeah, a number of other ones, Renee Kucha in the 400-meter dash. So a lot of really cool stuff there. Some top tens. I didn't actually get the whole list of who was included in this, but it definitely looks like a number like Ferris State. I happen to see was there. I know Wayne State and Oakland were there, so pretty good company that Wayne State was involved with for this one. And
Yep.
yeah, a very busy weekend for them. A lot to cover since there's just so many different articles, events, different athletes, who was where, trying to cover all of that. So unfortunately, golf and baseball and softball kind of took my focus on this one. So as we roll on through track and field, we're not going to forget about them. We'll make sure we continue to cover all the things that we have going on there.
Yeah, but next up we do have the tennis squads. Both were at home against Fair State on Friday, April 18th, and both of them won in very convincing fashion. First up, the men won 5-2, and it was, like I said, extremely convincing. The only points that Fair State scored were in three-set singles wins. So they didn't get the doubles point, and they had to take these singles victories that they got all the way to that third set. Extremely convincing win by Wayne State. And I think they needed that, coming off of some tough losses earlier in the season. And on the women's side, they just smoked them 7-0, complete shutout of Ferris State. Wayne State women won 7-0, and as we'll talk about later, they are perfect now on the GLIAC season.
Yeah, I wanted to look up one more time because I remember we were talking about Ferris State last week, and we said these were two big opportunities for both of our teams. And Wayne State taking down Ferris means that we are tied with Ferris in conference record. We actually do have the overall win percentage uh, uh, edge over Fair State, and we have the head-to-head win. So basically, that was playing for the rights as the second place team in GLIAC for men's tennis and women's tennis. You already mentioned it there, which is you win that one, you're perfect, and you guarantee yourself the number one overall seed here. So very cool stuff there for both of these teams. Exactly what they needed to do. Um, I don't remember. Did you already cover women's tennis, or did I just jump right
Yep.
to it?
Oh, you got it. Yep, just a complete shutout, 7-0.
Yeah, annihilation. I mean, none of it was even really close. So that was very, very impressive for them there. So a great way to close out the regular season for both of these teams. At this point, we are now moving right into postseason play for both of them. So we'll talk about that here in the second half. But again, fantastic season for the women's tennis team. I mean, it feels like just a couple of weeks ago we were talking about these teams heading down to Florida and taking on some of these, fantastic teams that are down there, high top 10, top five ranked teams in the country. And they come back, and now we see exactly why you do that, because the women's tennis team just ran the table and beat everybody. Men's tennis, we lost two of them in there, but I know one of them against Purdue Northwest. I have a feeling if we play Purdue Northwest again, there's a chance that we beat them. I think a very good chance that we beat them. And I believe Grand Valley probably was the other one, since Grand Valley is undefeated. So those are the two losses there. And, is what it is. But good stuff from the men's tennis team as they continue to get close to postseason play.
Yep, and same with the women's as well.
Yep.
But next up, we do have baseball. They had a four-game series against Grand Valley, and unfortunately, Grand Valley did take the series. They are number 9, I believe, in the country. Grand Valley won the first game, 9-4. Second doubleheader on Saturday, Wayne State wins game one, or game two in the series, 3-0, out of a Gabe Nazelli complete game shutout. He had 7 hits and 1 walks. Notably, coming into this game, he had a couple rough outings. The past 2 games, he had about an 8 ERA. So to go from, again, pretty rough games to a complete game shutout, awesome stuff from him. He's uh, pretty much been Wayne State's workhorse of this entire season. He's pitched about 44 innings.
Yeah, fun stat on him that I happened to look up. I think, yeah, you already said he's got a 44 innings pitched so far this season. Knock on wood, has not given up a home run. So those of you listening, find a 2x4 somewhere and knock on that, because pretty cool stuff there. So he's been a fantastic addition to this team so far this season.
Yeah.
And then looking into game three and game four, Grand Valley took both of those. Game number three by a score of 19-3. Whatever, it's a loss. I don't care. And then the finale, Grand Valley wins that one by a score of 4-0. So we go out to Grand Valley, and they're a very good team. They're good in a lot of sports. Baseball is Nada is part of that as well. So, but we went out there, we got the one win. You look like you got something to say, Sangster.
This was also Grand Valley's second home loss of the season, so at least we were able to deliver that to them.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you look at game two and game four, like, yeah, I mean, we didn't score any runs. We kept them to 3 and 4 runs in those. So, I mean, if our offense can show up even a little bit in some of those games, we sweep the series. And I mean, you sweep against a top 10 team on their field, that's something to talk about. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, we went out there and got a win. It was not exactly how many we wanted, but we at least didn't go out there and get, shut out and ran off the field. So
But
we showed up and played.
yep. Looking ahead, they do have a game at Finley coming up on Tuesday. We're going to hope that they win and that they can beat a GMAC opponent in the Midwest. And finally, for his efforts in that game against Grand Valley, Gabe Nazelli was named GLIAC Pitcher of the Week.
Yeah, good stuff from him. So
Yep.
we will be back to talk about baseball here in the second half. They have quite a bit coming up again. Another enormous weekend for them. One that could really, really move the needle. So we'll talk about them here in just a couple of minutes. But let's close out the first half. Sangster softball. Fun, interesting week for the softball team. They were supposed to have a doubleheader at Ferris. That got postponed to April 22nd. I'm just going to assume it was because of weather. And
Yep.
because of that, that doubleheader has gotten moved to the same day that Wayne State was supposed to play Ohio Dominican. That game is now marked as canceled. So I doubt that that one's going to happen, just being that we are pretty far through the season at this point. We
Yep.
probably ran out of scheduling time. And is it really worth it at that point? So the only action that the Wayne State softball team had was a doubleheader at Davenport, and lo and behold, Wayne State went out there and swept Davenport. They win game one by a score of 5-1, and they win game two by a score of 11-3. Exactly what they needed to do. I mean, this is a team that's continuing to get better. They're continuing to show that they're trending in the right direction. They have proof to show that they are. But yeah, to be able to go out and take down a team, sweep a team in a 2-game series that you're ahead of in the standings, pretty convincingly, that says something about this team.
Yeah, pitching wise in that first game, outstanding pitching effort by Sydney Long. Looking at the stats here, she obviously only gave up uh 1 run. That's game one, but we need pitching. Yeah, she gave up just 1 earned run. She pitched all 7 innings. She had 6 strikeouts. So just an excellent game from her. And also the hitting came on right when it was needed. Let's see. We had home runs from, why does it say that? Okay. Well, we had 2 runs scored by Hunter Neer, 1 run scored by Logan Foreman, and just overall a really good day hitting the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
Also
it
in
feels
that
weird to God.
Oh yeah, no, I was just looking at that second game as well. We had some runs scored by Maddie Rosinski, Riley Josephson, 2 runs. Logan Foreman had 2 runs, and Ellie Koopman had 1 run as well. So putting out offense when it's needed, clutch pitching also when it's needed against a team that, coming into this game, Wayne State had just as many wins in the conference as Davenport had, 8, and you just swept them. So now you got Wayne State's coming in now 10-12. You left Davenport in 8-16, putting some real distance between two pretty similar schools at that point in time.
Yeah, the standings are starting to look really interesting, and kind of looking ahead, we'll start the second half off on softball, but looking at who they have coming up and the opportunity ahead of them, yeah, they have a little bit of distance between them and the sixth, seventh, and eighth place team. There's not that much difference between them and the realistically the four, maybe even three, and we'll talk about why that's the case here in the second half. But this is a pretty exciting time for the softball team. I think they're starting to look pretty solid, and I'm happy that we were able to at least get out and see a little bit of them in action, even though that was last about a week and a half ago where they didn't end up winning that game. But they're still performing very well. So while we continue to ramble on about that, Sangster, we'll take a quick break. We got a lot to talk about coming up here in the second half, a lot of very exciting stuff. So we will be right back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we do have a 2025 tournament um, pages up for tennis. Men finished second, so we actually have a full bracket now.
Wait, oh, for
Tennis.
yeah. Oh, they're doing this in Midland, aren't they?
Yep.
How the hell did we let Northwood leave?
I like that
That
there's
one,
a tennis facility in the state that we could do this at.
yeah. Like, how do we let how do we let Northwood leave? They're literally in the middle of all of the schools.
It was
I mean,
scary.
so long, Alvita saying whatever, I don't care, but like, god dang. Yeah, I mean, I assume they picked this location because there's a boatload of courts and they can play 2 games at a time. So we couldn't even do it at Wayne State
No,
unless we could use indoor and outdoor at the same time, which I don't think we'd be allowed to do that.
which is weird because it shows on like the schedule that shows indoor and outdoor.
Oh, yeah, you're
I don't
right.
know if that's not sure what that's about.
I wonder if is that if weather permits, they can do it at 11.
That would be my guess.
But like regardless, it's the same time. Why do you need to call that out?
Greater Midland Tennis Center. How big is this place?
Ooh,
It's not.
yeah. They have 15 outdoor courts that I can see,
Oh boy. Yeah.
and it looks like because it's a giant U. Oh, nope, I'm sorry. It's a giant L of indoor courts. So my math would tell me
That's why they have it there.
there's about 12 indoor courts, it looks like. Maybe 14. Yeah, that's why they have it there. It's right.
So let's see. Men get a bye to Saturday, and we play either Ferris or Lake State. Inside, we'll play Saggy or Lake State. Ready, we need GLIAC. Baseball standings. GLIAC. Softball standings.
It's a coin toss. I know you can't, but I might end up making it to the baseball game on Friday. We'll see. I have the idea in my head that it would be cool because it's an outdoor free thing to do to just get out of the house with a infant.
Right.
So I may end up making it.
Yeah. I will be at the Suburban Collection Showplace.
Hell yeah. What
Big big old conference.
for law?
Yeah.
Sounds snooty.
For our field.
Just a bunch of auto insurance.
Yes.
Oh my God. Bring cigarettes to smoke in the car when you just get sick of everybody there. That
Well,
sounds
the good thing
rough.
is on the Thursday they have a little reception after, and they give you drink tickets.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, that at least sounds kind of fun.
Oh yeah, gets us out of the office.
That's important. All right, what else we need?
Got softball, we got baseball. Already got softball and baseball standings. Track is track. Golf is golf. I don't think there's anything special.
Oh.
Oh,
I want to get some D2 golf rankings really quick
do it.
since we're actually talking about them. Not men's golf. God dang it. Uh, no, not tennis. What the hell? Uh, yeah, this was back on April 11th. That doesn't help. Number 68.
Hmm.
Wish there was an easy way to show. This is from Scoreboard, though. Wish there was an easier way to show where they rank per GLIAC teams, short of going to the freaking East region, which we are actually at number 10 in the East region. I don't know how the uh regionals work for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they're different than the men's.
Let me see if some of these sites say. I really can't remember. Fuck it. Google AI. Meh, whatever. I don't know. They probably need to do pretty well in the GLIAC tournament in order to get there.
Yeah, I think they would need to win it, or at least make it to Sunday.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'm ready when you are.
Okie dokie.
And we're back. We ended with softball. We'll start with softball. This is a big time week coming up for the Wayne State softball team. They are currently at a 21 and 26 overall record, and they are also 10 and 12 in conference play. They got a boatload of doubleheaders coming up here, Sangster, and they're all away. So that's a bummer. We can't go and cheer for the team in person, at least not as easy as we'd like it to be. But uh, starting out, the Wayne State softball team on Tuesday, April 22nd, is actually heading to Ferris State. So these games will have happened probably by the time that you are hearing this. Ferris State is 24 and 14 overall, and they are 13 and 9 in conference play. This is one of those teams, Sangsters, I was talking about the GLIAC standings for softball. That 2 seed, that 3 seed is not as far away as you would think, even though Wayne State is currently sitting at the 5 seed.
That's exactly right because Fair State right now is 13 and 9. Like you said, Wayne State's 10 and 12. Both of them have played 22 games. So you played two more, both of you get to 24. That puts you in line with just about the rest of the conference because Saginaw Valley, we're not catching them. They've played 24 games. Next up is Grand Valley. They've played 24 games. Right now, they're sitting at 14 and 10 in the conference. Parkside has played 25 games, so they're not going to be playing as much as you are. They're at 13 and 12. You can start getting some wins. That's going to start at Ferris State. Get some wins there. You've prevented them from moving up, and you've gotten that much closer to them already.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that first series against Ferris State, definitely a tough one. I mean, it's not going to be easy go in there and win, but if you can go in there and split, just come out of that one with a win, as you mentioned, thanks to we got some games in hand against a lot of these teams that we're chasing. So that bodes very well for us. The next thing that bodes very well for us is the following doubleheader that we have, which is on Friday, April 25th. This one's happening at Purdue Northwest. At Purdue Northwest is 11, 31 and 1 overall. Yeah, they had a tie. And they're 6 and 17 in conference play. So this is one of those teams that, again, it's away. At the very least, we have to come away with a win in this one. But this is absolutely one of those. Like, unfortunately, I say it this way. Like, this is the bottom of the league that we're going to play, or the bottom of the conference. I'm sorry. So,
Yeah.
if we're really looking to gain some room, the way that's going to happen is split against Ferris, go sweep Purdue Northwest. You got to kind of do that one, and then following it up. Another team that we're chasing, as we just talked about, Sangster, is Grand Valley. We turn around and go to Grand Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Grand Valley's 23 and 23 overall, and they are 14 and 10 in conference play. So when we talk about the fact that Wayne State has 2 or 3 games in hand against a bunch of these teams, that bodes well. And then, we're getting plenty of opportunities this coming week against those teams that we're chasing. So, again, as I'll reiterate it again, if we're serious about wanting to be and going to be one of those top 4 teams in GLIAC play, it's going to start with probably better than a 500 record over these next 6 away games. You're probably going to want to come out of this one 4-2, is my thinking.
Yeah, and that would be really nice to see because you play that Purdue Northwest squad, you would like to see them take that entire series at Purdue Northwest. Big note here, Wayne State has split against all these teams at home. So we're 500 against them. Maybe you can steal one now that you've seen them once, go to their house and take it to them. Also, again, as we've noted here, if Wayne State can somehow get into that number 2 spot, they'll obviously need some help. They get a first day bye in the GLIAC tournament, and right now they're at the number 5 spot. So it's variable. It could happen. There is a universe where somehow Wayne State doesn't get in, but we're not going to hope for that. We're going to hope for Wayne State to do as well as they possibly can. All starts this weekend.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think we need to, reiterate as well is looking at where this team was last season. We
Yeah.
were basically the bottom of the GLIAC. I mean, realistically, we weren't very far out of being last place in that one, and our overall record left a lot to be desired. So the fact that we're even talking about the chance that this team can get up to the 2 seed, the turnaround that they've had within this, just last season to this season is pretty remarkable. I mean, we could even go back to 2023 and continue to see that upward trend, but like a spike this season that this team is just really, I won't say necessarily have taken off, but they're certainly, what do you call it? Taking off down the runway. We're moving a little bit. Wheels are still on the ground. We're not off yet, but we're working on it. So that's very cool. And they've definitely made it an exciting season so far, playing a lot of meaningful games.
Yeah, the last time that Wayne State has won 10 or more conference games was all the way back in 2021. Also, the last time they made the GLIAC tournament was, I believe, 2021. I don't think they made it in 22.
It doesn't look like
So
it. Like,
definitely not.
so
So
very
yeah,
cool stuff though.
great
Good for
stuff
them.
coming out this year.
That's absolutely right, Sangster. So let's stick with the diamond sports for a minute, shall we? And let's talk a little bit about baseball. Our baseball team currently 19 and 21 overall, 8 and 7 in conference play. A little bit of a step back from last year, but it happens from time to time. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a huge opportunity coming up this week, because they do. On Tuesday, April 22nd, they have that weird game at Finley that we have just baked into the schedule. So we get to head on down there and hopefully come out of that one with win. Finley is no schlub. They're definitely they're a quality opponent. And honestly, it's probably a very good thing that we get to play them so often because, like we talked about that one weird early week game that we have every so often. You're going against a very good team. So good stuff there. And then Davenport. We have a 4-game weekend home series against Davenport. I don't understand how, but Davenport is 29 and 11 overall, and they're 15 and 1 in conference play. Extremely good team. Again, I don't know where this came from. They're just all of a sudden a very good team, but that doesn't mean that Davenport's going to come to Wayne State on a 4-game series and just run us out of our own field. That's just simply not going to happen. But this is big time stuff here, thanks to taking on the number one team in GLIAC.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge, but a big opportunity as well. That certainly we can gain some ground on Grand Valley with a series win here. Uh, However, maybe improbable it could be. I do have to correct myself. Wayne, somehow I always forget about this. Wayne State softball did make the GLIAC tournament last year. Unfortunately, they had 2 losses in that double elimination style tournament, but they did make the tournament last year with 9 wins. So definitely looking to exceed that this year. Looking at the GLIAC baseball standings, though, like you said, Wayne State right now is at 8 and 7. They've only played 15 games. Somehow Grand Valley has managed to play 20 of them. They got really good luck with their weather early, so the rest of the GLIACs had to kind of make that up. So right now your leaders are Davenport at 15 and 1. They're looking to stave off Grand Valley, so they're definitely not going to be an easy out. Grand Valley right now 14 and 6, uh, but with a lot of games played already. Davenport really they're only looking to go up from here. Wayne State 8 and 7. Parkside has played one more game. They're 8 and 8. Saginaw Valley 7 and 9, and then Roosevelt 4 and 15, and Purdue Northwest 3 and 12. Which brings us to that next Tuesday. Wayne State has a series at Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana, again with their 15 and 7 overall record, 3 and 12 in the GLIAC. It's a must win. There's no bones about it. There's no moral victories if you happen to drop this game. It is a must win against Purdue Northwest.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad you called out the number of games there too, because Wayne State does have 5 games in hand against Grand Valley. So we do have a very good opportunity ahead of us to gain up ground in the standings. And we still have, as you mentioned, that game, and there's still another GLIAC weekend series coming up as well. So there are opportunities for this team to make up some ground, possibly get to that 2 seed. I mean, we definitely didn't help ourselves with this last series against Grand Valley, only able to come away with 1 win in that one. But at least we got a win in that one, so we kept
Right.
ourselves within striking distance there. And then yeah, you're exactly right on the Purdue Northwest game. You got to go out and win that one. It's one game. Unfortunately, that makes it a little bit scary because it's only one game. It's not a series. We'll beat Purdue Northwest in a series. I would put stacks on that. One game though is a little bit funky sometimes. So that's one of those like don't get caught in it because there's not a whole lot of room below Wayne State and the 5 seed. It's that close. So they're there. They have a very good opportunity, but they also don't have a lot of room for error here. They got to handle their business.
No, and they're going to get it done with their pitching. Right now in conference play, uh, they've scored 82 runs and they've been scored on 90. So that 90 is the third best in the conference behind Davenport and Grand Valley. Their runs scored, though, 82. That is unfortunately the worst in the conference. So if you want to blame it on something, it's been Wayne State's hitting this year. It just hasn't been able to drive in runs. That's kind of been their downfall this year. But the good news is there is that kind of logjam of teams that all have that 8 win, 7 win spread. So there's still opportunities here, but it's crunch time for Wayne State now.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if there's one thing, but you blame it on the runs. If you can't blame it on the runs, then you got to blame it on the juice. So I hope you got that reference because, like, as soon as you said blame it on the runs, I was like, oh man, here we go. So good luck to the baseball team. Good luck to the softball team. Lots of good stuff for them. I'm going to hopefully be able to make it out to see baseball at some point this weekend. That is my plan because I know how big this weekend is. Also, uh, you know, springtime on campus when the weather is nice. So underrated. I say it every season on the Warrior House podcast. It is so underrated that not enough people get out, not enough people get to enjoy a bunch of these sports, and especially like if you can go see an outdoor tennis match, that's very cool. I'll say that one. But the our baseball and softball fields are absolutely fantastic. So good stuff there.
For sure.
Track and field, Sangster. We got Friday. We're heading to Hillsdale for the Hillsdale Outdoor Tune-Up, and this is the last meet before GLIAC Championships. Hard to believe. Again, I'll keep saying it. It just feels like all of a sudden we are now at another championship time for our track and field teams.
Well, as they say, it's gonna be May pretty soon, so it is that time. But yeah, this is also the last event that Wayne State will be competing in before the GLIAC championships coming up the next week after that.
Yep. So good luck to our track and field team. Get some work in. I'm sure we'll continue to push some of these records here, and then we're going to be on to GLIAC championships, which we'll get to talk about probably next episode. So,
Yep.
all right, you got to take this one, Sangster, because I stole the Augusta thing in the first part of the episode.
Friends, this episode we get to cover three GLIAC championships, the first of which is the women's golf team. They'll be competing at the women's GLIAC championships in Augusta, Michigan, at the Stonehenge, not Stonehenge in England, North Golf Course. Right now, Wayne State is currently ranked number 10 in the East region in the NCAA rankings.
And they're
We are
playing
hoping,
exquisite golf.
we are hoping for excellent golf to be played, a friendly competition filled with camaraderie and excitement, but still the highest levels of sportsmanship and competition that you will have ever seen in Division II golf.
And fun had amongst all the patrons. Very cool opportunity here. We just saw what happened with our men's golf team. They were able to go out to Augusta and sneak out of there with the GLIAC championship. And honestly, like very well deserved. I mean, they went out there and won it. That's a bit of an upset in my mind. So it just goes to show what can happen when all the right things start clicking. And again, no dig at Josh DeCarlo by any means. He did not have a fantastic weekend, and we still won. Imagine what would have happened if he was playing, at the top of his level and he was, way up there in all of the standings and all that. So, I mean, that just goes to show what happens when things just start to click. And that can very easily happen for this women's golf team. And they've definitely struggled a bit this season with a little bit of a revolving door, some new faces on the team and what have you. So, they have a good opportunity in front of them. Currently number 10 in the East region for NCAA rankings. Sangster, as you said, I don't know exactly how regionals work. I'm sure we could find out relatively easy. But regardless, whatever the numbers are, my assumption is that this team probably needs to make it to Sunday. I believe you actually said that during the intermission of this episode. They probably need to make it to the championship event. Win it or lose it, I don't think it entirely matters at that point. But in my mind, that's probably what needs to happen in order for them to get the nod to be able to go to regionals.
Yeah, if Wayne State ends up making it, they will be in the East Regional, I think, because of the number of teams that compete. So the men have a super regional in which they have the what do you call it? The Midwest region and I just had this pulled up. The Midwest region and the Central region are combined together to have a super regional format. That'll actually be in Country Club, Missouri at the Joseph Country Club. We already know where it's going to be at. So it's going to be two of the regions combined into one. On the women's side, they have separate regionals. If Wayne State does end up making it, let's worry about GLIACs first, but that will also be in Allendale at the Meadows Golf Course. So they won't have to go very far if they make it, but this weekend, that's what you're going to need to do to get into it.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, hoping for some good stuff. Hopefully, we got the good Wayne State energy out there on that in Augusta, Michigan again, and just maybe, we could be talking about another championship here, if not a very good finish for this Wayne State women's golf team.
Yep.
So with that saying, so let's close it out. We got two tennis teams that just decided that they wanted to make the GLIAC tournament and try their best at getting a championship. So our men's tennis team, 14-6 overall. They are 5-2 in conference play. Regular season has completed. On Friday and Saturday, they'll be in Midland, Michigan, for the GLIAC tournament. And based on the
Do
way
you
the
have an ITA?
bracket is
Do
working out here, what's that?
you have an ITA ranking on them? Oh,
I
I got it.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
pull that one up really quick.
yeah,
I'm going to run through the seedings really quick here. So
yeah.
Grand Valley, number one overall seed, as we talked about, they are undefeated. Wayne State is the number two seed. So both of them get a bye right to the semifinals. Basically, Wayne State is awaiting the winner of Ferris State and Lake Superior State. We just beat Ferris State, so we feel good about that one. Lake Superior State, I want to say that we were able to beat them as well because again, I think Purdue Northwest and Grand Valley were our only conference losses. So basically, we're awaiting the winner of two teams that we have already proven that we can beat and have beat. So that bodes very well for us. And if Wayne State's able to move on and win that one, that gets them into the semifinal, which is going to be the winner of Grand Valley versus Purdue Northwest or Davenport. So this is going to happen pretty quick. This is a team that it would not shock me one bit to see them in the championship, based on the way that the season has gone. The most likely is probably going to be Wayne State versus Grand Valley, which I would love another shot at them, and I would love to beat Grand Valley. I would love to be able to take that championship from them. Probably as they're over there thinking that they've already, that they've earned it, they've done enough this season that they think they're the best team in GLIAC play. Let's just go in there and spoil it. Let's just take it and make sure that they don't get it.
Yeah, I would obviously love to see a Wayne State win here. Looking at the most recent, what do you call it, ITA rankings that I've got for them, they've actually dropped somehow between, actually, both teams have dropped, but we'll start with the men first. I believe they were number 18 or 19 last week. They've dropped down to 23, it looks like. Of course, this is an update when I hit the back button. Yeah, they're down to number 23 now, but whether or not that's because of just other teams ahead of them, all these rankings are so close together. And
Oh,
when all these teams are from completely different conferences that admittedly have very different styles of play. Right now, the only GLIAC team that would be ahead of them is Grand Valley, who are number 13. I'm trying to just do some offhand, looking to see if we've got any other Midwest teams that are in front of the men's team right now. Looks like,
the rankings you're looking at saying, so when did
yeah,
those come out?
April 16th, 2025.
Okay, so it accounted for the Purdue Northwest loss that
Yep.
we had, which I understand.
No, okay, now
Following
you're
those
making sense
rankings,
because we're not thinking about Ferris though.
right?
Ferris State in that ranking was number 30. So Wayne State will get some credit for that, but right now, as of April 16th, Grand Valley and Wayne State were your top two GLIAC teams.
Yeah. Okay. So as you're saying, they dropped in the rankings. I remember, and again, that's another one of those like we play Purdue Northwest again. I feel good that we'll be able to beat them, especially on a neutral court, if nothing
Yeah,
else. So um, may not even get the chance to see them since they're on the other side of the bracket. But yes, following those rankings, a win against Ferris State, I think rankings probably should come out tomorrow, April 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So I would expect to see a bump back up to number 20 or 21.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but it's April 23rd.
Okay, so it's 2 days from
Yep.
now. I'm so sorry. I was way off. How dare I go 24 hours in the wrong direction? So
Oh no. No,
that's what
it's
we got
coming
for
up.
men's tennis.
Yep. Moral of the story though is leave no doubt. If you win this GLIAC tournament, you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, that certainly seems like it's going to be the name of it. And again, it's one of those like based on the bracket, let's at least make it to the championship. I mean, let's
Yep,
get to the point that we can make an argument that we should be included in any postseason coming up.
for sure.
And that's
And
what
last but
that's
not
that's
least,
what we
though,
hope
we do
for.
have the women's tennis team. They finished this season now 11-3 and 8-0, perfect in conference play. Again, they'll be competing at the GLIAC tournament in Midland. Pretty much here, winning is the expectation. Anything less, I think, would be a big letdown. Right now, Wayne State is obviously the number one seed in the bracket. Your full bracket is Wayne State number one, Grand Valley number two, flip flop from the men's side. Number three is Ferris going against number six, Davenport, and then number 4 Saginaw Valley going against number 5 Lake Superior State. So again, Wayne State gets a first day bye. They will be playing first on Saturday, April 26th, against the winner of Saginaw Valley and Lake Superior State. No surprise here. Wayne State's beaten both of those teams.
Yeah, here's a fun fact for you. Over the last
Okay.
9 games for the Wayne State, or I'm sorry, last 9 matches for the Wayne State women's tennis team, this dates back to March 15th.
Mhm.
They've lost 8 points. That's it.
That is
So
impressive.
what does that mean? It means their average victory is basically 6-1. So, and this is including Oakland, and this is including the entire slate of GLIAC. That's just how impressive it is. And then, yeah, I mean, certainly, Ryan, look the week before that. Yeah, they take on Nova Southeastern, Barry, and Kaiser. Sangster, you don't need to look up the ITA rankings on them. I know the two of them are in the top 10 for the ITA. So,
Very.
it's that's kind of the cool part about that. So, I mean, definitely the expectation at this point is this Wayne State women's tennis team coming in as the number 1 seed. They beat everybody. Of course, they're the number 1 seed. We just, the next team that's in front of you, 2 games gets you a championship. And I think this team, for what they've done so far this season, I think they deserve it. They just got to go out there. They got to play the way they played all season. Make sure that we don't overthink it and just go get your championship banner.
100% agree. But like I said earlier, I think that anything less than winning this, it would be a big letdown. It's not season ending. Wayne State's definitely good enough to end up in the NCAA tournament, but winning is the expectation here, and I have full faith that Wayne State's going to be able to do it.
Absolutely, Sam. And I know we were talking about some of the singles and doubles partners. I know like Martin Spikoska and Malak Arafat are way up there in the doubles ranking. So we got some very good tennis players out there. Honest Racine, of course, as well. So let's have a little bit of fun in conference play. Let's go get our win, and then let's turn our attention to NCAA's after that. So
Yep.
that's all we got, Sangster. A ton of championship talk coming up here. I'm hoping we get a couple of banners coming back to Wayne State following this weekend, and I hope next week we talk about all of it. And I'm hoping we got some good stuff to talk about softball and baseball as well.
Absolutely. And that's it for this one. We're going to be looking to get, let's see, we got 3 GLIAC championships coming up this weekend. Let's hope for a perfect weekend, right?
Yeah, let's get some stuff done. So good luck to all of our teams. Appreciate everybody listening in. This has been episode 96, GLIAC Golf Champions. This has been the Warrior House Podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.